TV. I'm your host, Jay Heilman. Thank you so much for joining us today. Well, there's a new film that's in theaters today, and if you're like me and you have children, you're always looking for great family entertainment and movies to be able to take your children to see. Not only films that are entertaining, but films that are family oriented and appropriate for kids to see. And one movie that's coming out this weekend, it's called My Penguin Friend. It's based on a true story. And I have the producer of the film on with me today, Dr. Jonathan Lim, a physician turned entrepreneur who now invests his time, efforts, and finances in entertainment family films that everyone can enjoy. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Jonathan Lim to Kingdom Builder. Doctor, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks a lot for having me on the show, Jay.
Yeah, so glad to have you today. Well, Jonathan, we're here today to talk about the new film, My Penguin Friend, which is now in theaters. The movie stars John Reno and Adriana Barraza. And take a moment to tell us about this new film and how this real life story made it to you to be in a feature film.
Yeah, well, it's a great story because it's a true story, and My Penguin Friend is based on the true story of a Brazilian fisherman named João. He comes across an Argentinian penguin whom he names Dindim later on, and Dindim is all covered in oil, close to death, and then João nurses him back to health. They forge this unlikeliest of friendships where the penguin swims thousands of miles every year to go visit his fisherman friend in a remote Brazilian fishing village. And so that's a true story that actually blew up on social media in 2016, 2017 timeframe. A few years later, one of the producers on our team actually tracked down the real João fisherman and wanted to tell his story. And they put together a script. They recruited David Sherman as the director. David Sherman has extensive filmmaking experience from Brazil, including documentaries and narrative films. When we saw the script, it wasn't quite ready for prime time, so it went through many revisions, 20 revisions, in fact. But once it was ready, we were able to go out to Jean Reno. Jean Reno read it and he loved it, and the rest is history, so to speak. So it really was a team effort of a number of people and just being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and Jean Reno is, he's one of my favorite actors. I love his body of work. The Professional is one of my favorite movies. Was
Me too.
excellent
That
in
was
that.
really an amazing film.
Yeah,
And
and
this
then
film reminds me of his role there, in terms of the chemistry that he developed with Natalie Portman, who played the girl in The Professional, and then now with the Penguin in this movie.
yeah, and with him, obviously he's been in film for a long time. Been in a lot of French film. Godzilla was another movie that he was in that really enjoyed his character. And a lot of people may be wondering, what was it like working with him on this film?
It was, I mean, pardon the pun, he is a true professional. So when we were on set, he was all business and he was just locked in. And I was amazed how, uh, few takes it took for him to just really be in character and to express the emotion and the connection, not just with the penguin, but also with Adriana Barraza, his wife, who plays his wife in the movie. And Jean could just flip a switch and just be in character, but then we would be having dinner or a meal and just laughing together. And he was just so engaging and had some fantastic stories about his time with Robert De Niro on Ronin and other movies that he's been on.
Yeah, it's really cool. And my 7 and 8 year old daughter really enjoyed this movie. We've watched movies, family movies, obviously all the time, but the ones that are based on true stories are really cool. And the one thing that I really liked about this one was, just the it was an unlikely friendship here. It wasn't like a friendship really between two people, but between man and animals, which I thought was quite extraordinary. So it was such a great story. And with this film, and these are the type of films that I think are kind of missing from today's world. Obviously you got the films that are more oriented towards an adult audience, but a lot of the time we forget that our young audience needs movies and entertainment too. So with you particularly, what is your, motivation of really wanting to bring these kind of films to light for the younger audiences?
I think you framed it really well, Jay. It really is just that. It's just there aren't enough movies out there where families of all ages can enjoy it. So sometimes you have to make this choice where do I go see a film that's really predominantly for kids, or do I see a film that's predominantly for adults? But why can't we have both? And My Penguin Friend is really the kind of movie that can bring families together, whether you have young 6 or 7 year olds or 80-year-old parents or grandparents. Um, Multi generations can go and enjoy that type of film. And to your point, there just aren't enough films like that these days. And when I have three children, they range now from 22 to 17, but when they were 12 to 7, I found that there was a scarcity of those kinds of movies. And so through City Hill Arts, we really wanted to produce and make available more films like My Penguin Friend that can bring families together and people of all ages can enjoy. And I think that, the major studios are really, unfortunately, the economics of the studios are driving them towards the blockbusters and comic book sequels and reboots. And so there's just not enough independent filmmaking in this genre of family movies. And so we hope that as many people as possible can come out to the theater to support My Penguin Friends so that companies like City Hill Arts and other independent filmmakers can make more movies like this.
Exactly. And one thing about family film is that, not every film that's listed as a family movie is honestly appropriate for young kids. And it's good to see movies like this where it's, you know, presenting a real life story, but it's kind of like a kind of like a teaching a lesson to kids. And I like the fact that, this movie teaches the importance of being friends and caretakers of our animals and stuff. And it was such a wonderful story. And like I said, my girls loved it. And I think that other families are really going to enjoy this film too. And one thing that I always ask people that are, that do films and stuff is when moviegoers go and see this film in theaters this weekend. They've sat and watched My Penguin Friend. When they leave the theaters, what is your biggest hope and prayer that they take away after seeing this film?
Well, I think you touched on one of them, which is I really want them to experience the power of friendship, love, and kindness to transform the relationships. In this case, it transformed a broken family and really brought hope and inspiration to their lives in terms of the beauty of that relationship, friendship, love, and kindness. And then broader theme of just being in awe of the beautiful world we live in, and just really a call to stewardship for us to be wise stewards of the planet and its inhabitants, including taking better care of each other. We at City Hill Arts want to work on movies that unite people and bring people together, inspire them to unity. And I think there's a lot of unfortunately divisiveness in certain aspects of our culture, and so we want
Yeah.
this movie and others to be a counterpoint to that.
So City Hill and Archventure are the filling part of this of what you're doing here, and people may be wondering, My Penguin Friend is now in theaters. Obviously, we want to go see that film this weekend. I would encourage viewers to go and check that out. It's a great movie. But people may be wondering, they see My Penguin Friend, discover that this is an amazing movie, and kind of wondering, okay, what are you in City Hill up to next? Do you guys have any other films that are in the works that you can share with us about?
Yeah, we're collaborating with Justin Lin and Perfect Storm Entertainment. Justin, as you may know, is a director who worked on Better Luck Tomorrow as an indie film, and then he worked on Fast and Furious franchise, as well as some of the newer Star Trek movies. And he's just an amazing filmmaker, but he came back to his roots in indie filmmaking and is working on a project called Last Days, and we just finished shooting that in Thailand and London. And it's a story about John Allen Chow, who's a Christian missionary who went to teach the gospel to the North Sentinel Island inhabitants. And so it's a really interesting story. It's based on a true story as well. And it's really a beautiful story about the common elements of humanity that unite us. And so I think it'll be a really compelling film based on some of the aspects that I've seen. And then we're collaborating with Cary Granat and Ed Jones and David Cunningham on a project called In the Beginning. And this is about creation from Genesis 1:1 to 2:3. So I think this audience may find that interesting in the future as well.
That does sound interesting. I'm excited to check out those films when they come out.
Thank you.
Well, Dr. Lim, this has been a pleasure, and hoping and praying that people go and check out this film this weekend. It's called My Penguin Friend. It's in theaters now, and thank you so much for coming by. And where can people get more information? They've heard about the movie. Where can they get more information on this new film?
Yeah, so multiple places. We are revamping our website. Hopefully, it has been revamped and launched by the time people look at it. But it's cityhillarts.com is our website where people can find more information about our current and future projects. And then also, we're distributing My Penguin Friend through our partner Roadside Attractions. And so Roadside Attractions has distributed films like Manchester by the Sea, Super Size Me, Amazing Grace, really some amazing independent films. And so their website and social media handles talk a lot about My Penguin Friend, which is an important project to them as well as us.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Lim, thank you so much for joining us today. I greatly
Much for
appreciate
having me.
it. People need to go check out My Penguin Friend this weekend. It's a great film, and make plans to bring the whole family to see it. I can guarantee you that people will love this heartwarming story of friendship, and it's just amazing. I can't say enough about this. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.